Thank all of you for coming, and I do appreciate what you do. On January the 13th at approximately 5:04 a.m., the Bryan County Emergency Communications Office received a 911 call from the mother of the homeowner located at 176 Demrys Lake Lane in Bryan County. The mother stated that her daughter called her and asked her to call 911 related to an explosion that occurred at her residence. The Bryan County Sheriff's Office, Bryan County Fire and EMS were dispatched to the location immediately. EMS and fire arrived on scene at 5:16 a.m., some 12 minutes later. After an examination of the scene and careful consideration, it was determined by Fire Command, due to the extensive damage, that this appeared to be a sinister act and not an accident. Fire Command, led by EMA Director Freddie Howell, who is with us today, contacted the Fire Marshal's office, and the Savannah office of the ATF was notified and responded. Soon after, what is described as a bomb crater, approximately 2 foot by 2 foot, was identified, located in the concrete driveway just in front of the left garage door. At this time, a criminal investigation was launched in full force. Members of the ATF, the Bryan County Sheriff's Office, Bryan County Fire, and the State Fire Marshal's Office worked together to very quickly gather evidence and information that led to identifying a possible motive and a suspect. Though the entire process, which required the writing of multiple searches and search warrants and was very extensive in technological means, we were able to positively identify 2 suspects and gathered the needed intel and evidence to bring charges against those responsible for this targeted attack. The exact composition of the explosive device will not be discussed or released at this time. Suspect Stephen Glosser, who has a Savannah address, was subsequently arrested by Chatham County Sheriff's Office on a probation violation and has since been booked into the Bryan County Jail on charges of possession, transport, receive, explosive, destructive device with intent to kill, injure, or destroy a building, and for criminal damage to property in the first degree. Mr. Glosser is currently housed in the Liberty County Jail, and we are hopeful that he will continue to be denied bond and will remain in our custody until trial. Suspect Caleb Kinsley, within a few days of the explosion, fled the state and turned himself in to law enforcement in Louisiana. Mr. Kinsley was arrested by the ATF and charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Mr. Kinsley is currently incarcerated in the state of Louisiana and will be extradited accordingly to face the charges related to the January 13th incident. I, again, want to personally thank all of those entities involved in the response, investigation, and arrest of these 2 suspects and the swift, intelligent, and in-depth work that was done to bring these 2 to justice. It is unfortunate that there are people in this and the surrounding communities that not only are capable of such a heinous crime, but who are willing to take the steps to commit it. Rest assured that the members of the Bryan County Sheriff's Office will continue to be dedicated in keeping Bryan County a safe place to live and to raise a family. And at this time, we will entertain answering a few questions if you have them. Yes, ma'am.
Sheriff Crow, do you know why Caleb fled to Louisiana? Does he have family there?
I cannot honestly answer that to the fullest extent. I believe that that is where he has once resided, maybe, and maybe he does have family there. One of you guys care to elaborate on that?
I don't have any. Okay.
Do you all know their motive?
Yes. At this time, I don't think that we would be able to disclose that.
Do you know what county in Louisiana he
I
was in?
do not. Do not.
Could there likely be any other suspects?
We don't believe there are any other suspects. We do believe that we have the 2 that are responsible for this.
Other than the explosion, is there another link or correlation between the suspects in the house, in the home that was?
The suspect in the home, no. Okay.
Let me ask, did the suspects know the victims that lived in that home?
So there is some sort of relationship, I'll say that lightly, between the suspect, one of the suspects at least, and the new homeowner of that residence.
Could you describe that relationship in a little more detail?
I won't be able to get into it at this time, sorry.
Sheriff, is it possible that one of the suspects, I know you can't go into great detail, but is it possible the one that allegedly had a relationship with the homeowner coerced the other suspect to help carry out this act?
Of course, I wouldn't know that for sure, for a fact, but they were definitely friends.
Okay.
So, you know, you can take it as, you know, as it is, so.
Did the suspects build the bomb on their own? Did they acquire it somehow? How did that?
We won't be able to talk about the device in itself because it's still under investigation.
But it's classified as a bomb.
It is classified as an explosive device at this time.
Will Kenzie be brought here to be tried and everything?
They will be brought here. So I will talk about what we're doing on the Bryan County side, our state charges. Okay, so you had the state and the federal charges. ATF, you know, of course, is a federal agency, so they would bring federal charges. They're still investigating that side of things on federal charges. The charges that we have here today are state charges. So we would ask the agents of ATF, when the trial date comes, to step in and be a witness for the state in reference to what they discovered during the investigation.
Do you know if there will be a grand jury indictment soon that we can look for?
There will be a grand jury indictment. The grand jury, they don't convene until March. So I don't know if they'll have it ready for March. March and November are our terms here in Bryan County for our grand jury.
Concerning the bomb, is there a timeline of when it was placed inside of the home, if it was placed inside of the home or outside of the home?
We don't believe it was placed inside of the home. We do believe that it was placed the morning before the explosion, which was the 13th, outside of the home in front of that garage door. Yes, ma'am.
What, was it put in a container or a garbage can or
We
anything?
can't discuss that this time.
Were the suspects, when y'all picked them up, did they have any other explosive devices on hand or in wherever they were?
So the suspect that was subsequently arrested in Savannah was actually arrested on the probation violation charge. There was a search warrant that was done on the residence there. I cannot disclose any information as to what was located or found within that residence.
Sheriff, have you ever seen anything like this before in your county?
I have not. I've never seen anything like this, period. 26 years of being in law enforcement, this is a very first. And when I arrived on the scene out there, I had no idea of the devastation that I would see to that home. We just went through a tornado in April, and it almost looked like a tornado when it went off inside the home, you know, with all the debris that was and the damage that happened to it.
The victim, the woman that owns the home, didn't she just move here?
She did. I think that was the first night that she had actually spent the night in the home, and I don't believe there was any furniture in there. I think they were actually sleeping on the floor, and they had their luggage. Didn't really know anything about the area other than her parents. I believe, or her mother for sure lives within the confines of Bryan County, and that was her first call was to someone she knew.
Is it fair to say that these suspects followed the victim to Bryan County to place that explosion device?
I don't think so. I'm not going to speculate that they followed her. Did they know where she lived? I believe that through their course of whatever relationship they had, that she knew. I mean, the suspects knew where she lived.
Do you have any words or words of comfort for this victim talking to her and her daughter? You know, they were definitely distraught soon after this happened and still are very saddened now.
Yes, absolutely. And, the community in Bryan County is very good to people. The community around Richmond Hill area, I think the neighbors there in that neighborhood are very good. They're very concerned. They've reached out to her and helped clean up some of the mess, of course. I know the rebuilding of her home is going to take a while to get done. We can assure her that Bryan County Sheriff's Office, will work as hard as we can to try to keep this Bryan County a safe place to live and a place that she can enjoy and a place that she can continue to raise her daughter without having to worry about things like this happening again, hopefully.
Sheriff, did she just meet this person? Because I think confusion is she just moved here. So how did she know this person? Was this a long distance relationship or?
That I can't elaborate on, but it's very possible
Okay.
that they knew each other You know, I know that they knew each other or had some relationship prior, and that's all I can really tell you.
Was she previously a resident in Chatham, Bryan County?
I don't think so. I think she moved here from California, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so she's never
And
lived in this area?
her
to
mother
your
lives
knowledge?
here. I don't know if through her mother somehow this person, she had a relationship through. Don't hold me to that because I don't know if that's a fact or how she came to know the person that is responsible, one of the people that's responsible for this. I will not elaborate on that because I don't know.
Do you know where she is right now?
I suspect that she's probably living with her mother, but I don't know that either. I honestly don't.
Do you know if Kinsey was granted bond?
Kinsey?
Yes, the one that was in Louisiana.
To my knowledge, both parties have been denied bond. And I think Kinsey is actually charged under the federal statutes, if I'm not mistaken, under federal statutes for the possession of the firearm. And so it'll be a little harder for him to get bond under that federal law. So they're probably going to hold him until they get ready to extradite him to Georgia.
So he's still in Louisiana?
He is.
Is he in local, a local jail, or is he in a federal?
He would likely be in a local jail, probably in a sheriff's parish over there in Louisiana. They call them parishes. He'd probably be in one of those jails in the sheriff's parish. Many times ATF, they ask the local sheriff's offices to hold their inmates or their suspects for them. So that's probably where he is.
Is this the first time that your office has worked with the ATF?
Well, not the first time we've ever worked with the ATF. We do work with them hand in hand on some firearms cases that we have. If we have someone that's suspected of stealing firearms or somebody that's a convicted felon that we keep having problems with firearms, if the ATF will take a gun case for us or from us, we will give it to them so that they can prosecute it on a federal statute. Because the state statute doesn't hold as much weight as the federal does. And of course, you know, in the federal system, you do every day, every minute, every second of the time that you get. So we hand cases off to them when they will take them from us. Yeah.
Sheriff, I apologize. I think you already answered this, but are both suspects from Bryan County?
No, neither suspect was from Bryan County.
Okay.
One had a Savannah address.
Okay.
And I'm not sure even if the other one was living with him, but I suspect and think that that they have determined that he may have been living with him at the time of this incident.
That was Glosser? Louisiana?
Glosser had the address in Savannah.
Do you have both their mugshots available?
I do. I have a small picture of what I'm not sure what news station it was on, but it was on when you guys knew. And I think the left side, I believe, might be the picture from our jail back here in the back. My left, y'all's right, yeah.
Do we have an identification on left or right, who's who?
I believe the left side is Mr. Glossier. My left, your right, Mr. Glossier. And the right side, your left, is Mr. Kinsley. Good.
Would we be able to get digital copies of those by chance?
I don't know if we can give you a
Possibly
digital copy, can you?
Corporal
Fleming can probably get you a
Perfect.
digital
Okay,
copy.
great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sheriff, initially when you got there, at what point did you realize that something more sinister had taken place?
Now, I was not one of the first responding people on scene. That would be Director Howell's, some of his department, probably a lot of his command staff, the EMS and fire that was working that shift in the morning. And then two of my deputies arrived on scene very shortly thereafter. The emergency fire trucks and the ambulance arrived. I went down during that day and looked around, and then I went back a couple of times actually and looked around just to walk around and see what I could see. After everything was over with, I went back after the crime scene tape was removed and kind of looked around again. But anyway.
So as Presser got started, you called this case sinister. What makes you call it sinister? Why call it sinister?
Well, because it was a deliberate act. I mean, it could have easily hurt, maimed, or killed somebody. The lady was very, very lucky that she was as far away from the blast as she was on the other end of the house. Can I speculate that all he wanted to do was destroy the home? I can't. I don't know what was going through this person or their minds at the time, but we're just glad that no one was hurt or killed.
And so, Sheriff, just so that we're clear, has the owner ever had any contact with the suspects before or after the explosion?
One of the suspects and the owner of the home has had some sort of relationship. I don't know if it was a friendship or anything other than that, or if it was even any more than just speaking on a phone or through an internet app or something. I really don't know. I just know that she is familiar with one of those suspects that we have in custody.
When, is it Caleb that turned himself in?
Kinsley gentleman you talking about in Louisiana?
Louisiana, yeah. Were authorities kind of tracking him closely, or did he, I don't know, did he turn himself out of guilt, or what's your general sense?
I have heard stories. I don't know, maybe one of these guys can elaborate on that. The story and I'll just tell you the story that I heard was that he was in contact with the gentleman in Savannah and found out that they were looking for him, that they were probably going to take a warrant out on him for the possession, and that he went to a law enforcement agency there in Louisiana and turned himself in.
How good does it feel for you as the sheriff of this county to know that they're behind bars?
Oh man, you're talking about a relief. And it happened so quickly. That's what I'm really tickled about and very satisfied that so many people came together so fast, so many resources, that we were able to get the information very quickly that we needed. To include kudos to Verizon and AT&T and all those other carriers that are out there that give us information and stuff. The camera systems that we have around and about, they were detrimental in being able to get this information. And if that hadn't come together so quickly, we wouldn't have been able to piece it together as quickly as they had.
So are you suggesting that cameras caught them placing the bomb?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I wish so, yeah. Yeah, but no.
But you are saying digital had quite the role.
Oh, yeah, technology had a huge role in being able to get a suspect in this. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Good to go? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah.